the travel.
This time I am using the Eurostar to Amsterdam and Belgium, Brussels specifically. So I took the Amsterdam from St Pancras station in London, and immediately I entered the train. I felt, oh, this is comfortable. I see why a lot of people use it. And I was expecting to see a lot of views from the outside, but I didn't. So definitely not going to use it again. But anyway, this is me in Brussels. So I had already landed at this point. I first stopped at the bakery in Pulse. And when I got to my hotel, I couldn't check in. So I stopped for lunch at this place called the Woodpecker. And so I had this big bowl of hot chocolate and waffles with some eggs. Yeah, but then I came in February and it was so cold. It was really, really, really cold. I do not recommend you come to Brussels or Amsterdam in February because it's really cold, it's rainy. But anyways, at this point, I had come to the city center. This was the Grand Place. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I think it is. It's Grand, Place, in the Brussels city center. These particular buildings were lined with gold. I think the gold, actual real gold were on the structure, because I know there was some walking tour around and the people were talking about, the history of this building and why it was created and stuff like that. But it was really beautiful to see. I tried to zoom in at some point as well. So I'd got in here, but usually when I take a red eye, like flight or train to a country, I always get there really early, and most times hotels are not available for check-in, and I didn't even have the energy to negotiate early check-in. But traveling solo sometimes means that you have to, look for people who are going to take your pictures, your videos, but it's okay. I saw some people who were kind enough to take my pictures, but as you know, Brussels is the city of chocolates and ice cream. So yeah, this was me at the city center. I went to check out the stores that had some nice chocolates. I think this was New House. I had my fill of chocolates. So I also went to check out for some souvenirs for some of my friends and people who requested to have those. I usually don't buy any like fruit stamps or anything like that. But this was the funniest thing. So I decided to go to the chocolate museum. In my excitement, I was expecting, oh my God, I'm going to eat so much chocolate and stuff like that. But you're going to see it soon. But it was such a lovely structure and it was rainy. So you see my face is all wet. I'm with my coat. I didn't take it off the entire time I was here until I entered the building. This is the first step into the chocolate museum. When I got in there, this was like a shell of coffee, I think. And I sat in it and I took a picture. This is the first place you start to, experience the chocolate museum. At this point, I was like, what is happening? This is definitely not chocolate. But anyway, what we were expecting here, or what they were showing us here, was the history of chocolate and how it came about. I'm like, okay, this is not why I came here. I sat down again in the shell and took some pictures. And at this point, a lot of people who were here for the store. They gave us these small devices that we put in our hair, hearing the history of how chocolate was formed, the people who were involved in discovering it, and the process they go through in making it what it is that we love today, the whole cocoa process and stuff like that. And then you had artifacts here that people could just look. I don't think you could buy it. And then there were like world maps. It's just interactive things that help you understand, the process of making chocolate what it is that we know and love. But anyway, I don't know how I felt, to be honest, because I was expecting to be eating a lot of chocolate, but I don't know why I was here listening about, the history of chocolate. But anyways, so this was how it helps your body. And at this point, we sat down to watch a video. So much work goes into making chocolate and having what we see here. But I don't think this was still edible. It wasn't really nice, to be honest. I just grabbed some, and of course too many hands in the bowl. But anyways, still enjoying the tour. Not so much, but I mean, what can I do? I already paid to be here. By the way, I got the ticket from, I think, Get Your Guide, or you can buy at the entrance.
The Belgium Granny. So I need your help to demonstrate. So please take care and relax.
I stopped filming at that point because the lady was like, no filming allowed. Anyway, when I was done, I went to eat actual chocolate. So I went to Waffle Factory, which was beside Chocolate Museum, and I had some Nutella and waffles and bananas and ice cream. I was so happy. At least even if the museum didn't have real chocolates, I got some on my way out. So this was me going back to my hotel. So I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express in Brussels. It's right by the city center. I always default to stay by the city center because it's close to every activity, and especially when you're solo, you want to be where there are a lot of people. You don't want to be in a remote part of town. But that was my hotel. On day 2, I decided to go to Amsterdam. So I found out that you could take a bus from Brussels to Amsterdam, and it was like an hour or 2, and it didn't cost a lot of money. So I just, used my map to find the meeting point of those buses. There was a bit of a wait time, and I think I used the FlixBus. I don't remember taking a picture of it, but this was me in the bus. And one thing to note here is that we were stopped halfway through the border between Amsterdam and Brussels, and there were actual immigration officers who were checking our documentation to be sure that we're legally allowed to cross over into the country. So sometimes when you think that if you use a bus, there are probably not going to be checks, there will be checks. And I feel like that's why some people like to use the Eurostar, because they don't expect a lot of checks. But there are checks at St Pancras when you're trying to board the Eurostar. The only thing is that you don't have luggage restrictions. You can carry as many bags as you want. But at this point, we were already approaching Amsterdam, and I was excited to be here because I'd always wanted to come to Amsterdam, but time never really aligned. But anyway, this was when I got to Amsterdam. This was where the bus stopped. So from this point, you needed to take a train into the city to explore. Yet again, cold. So my scarf and my coat were working overtime. But these are the typical canals you see in Amsterdam. I definitely need to come back to Amsterdam again because I feel like it's going to be really stunning when it's proper summer, because it was so cold and it was windy. And at some point I saw some ladies who were by the canal trying to take pictures, and I took their pictures, and in exchange they took mine. That's one top tip when you're traveling solo. I did some quick research on what I can do or where I can go that's popular, and I heard about this Manneken Pis fries. Holland fries is apparently both voted number 1 fries in Holland. I don't really like fries, but I truly enjoyed eating these fries. Look at my face. I was so excited, and the way it was served, I think there were just a lot of things in it. Like Yoruba would say orishi, and there's a lot of stuff in it, and it was so nice. But I needed to eat proper food, so I went to go grab a proper Chinese lunch at somewhere around the city center. I had a good bubble tea, I think, and then took some time to explore Amsterdam for a bit because it was so cold and it was so windy. To be honest, I didn't even have plans to stay longer than I was going to stay. And see, at this point, I was already turning white. Really cold to be in Amsterdam at this time of the year. But I liked that show. It was so funny. So I decided to take the train back to where I was going to go back with the bus to Amsterdam so I don't miss it. But that was a fun field day. And on to day 3. Day 3 is me spending time in Brussels. Hallelujah, better weather today. There's some hints of sun. Can you tell how excited I was that it was so sunny today? Nice. Because the days before today the weather was gloomy, and you can see it's still looking gloomy, but at least there was some sun. So this was the gold I was talking about on the building. I'm zooming in here so you can see whether it's real gold or gold plated, but I mean, it looks like it was real good, but it was nice. So I went back to that same Grand Place just to see what it looks like during the day. And of course, the popular tourist attraction, so many tourists gathered here, take selfies of myself, did more videos of the building. There were just so many people around. They were walking tours around as well. So there are other ways to see Brussels if you want. But to be honest, I don't think there's so much to see in Brussels. And people call it the boring city. But I didn't really mind, to be honest. So I went here to Maison Dandoy for more waffles and ice cream and chocolate, as always, because when you're in Brussels, you eat chocolate and you eat ice cream because that's what they're famous for. And at this point, I just took a seat outside the Maison Dandoy. There was such a long queue because it's popular. Anything that's popular on TikTok, best believe is going to be crowded. Next up was the Museum of Illusion in Brussels. I really enjoyed this place, and you can tell. So when I walked in, I'm like, okay, what do I do here? Typically, people recommend you going to Brussels Museum of Illusion with people because you need someone to help you like take pictures and videos. But if you don't have anybody to go with, or if you're traveling solo at this time of the year, there are attendants who can help you take pictures. So, and there are people who explain what these places are. So in this place, it's supposed to, I don't know what it was. At first my eyes were turning because it felt like it was playing ground, but it wasn't, because I was slanting. And then there were so many mirrors across the place. This was the most ridiculous thing, to be honest. With this one, I wasn't turned upside down. You just had to reverse the picture. With this, I was standing in front of a mirror, but it's like it split me in two. This was the funniest. I just stood like this and they told me to reverse this so it looks like upside down. It was so funny. But imagine when you see people post it on Instagram, you're just like, oh, how did you do that? But yeah, man, there are tricks to this thing. There are different mirrors all over the place, and I was definitely having a fun time filming myself in different, mirrors. The place is so nice. Really is a museum of illusion, and there's just so many things that you see there that you're just like, oh, how did they achieve this? But I think the illusion is when you take the pictures. Like when you take pictures and post it without explaining, people are just like, wow, how did you achieve this and stuff like that. But yeah, they really did a good job. This place, I remember giving it a 5-star on Google reviews because it was so nice. And then I entered this room. I'm not sure what this room was supposed to be. I just know that they said a couple of people had come in here to dance and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, might as well join them. And it just kept changing the lights from green to red to blue to the regular color of the lights. And I'm like, okay, might as well just dance. And when I'm done dancing, I will leave. And so I left here. And then I went to another part of the museum where they had this stuff. I really don't know what that was, but I was working with some attendants, the people who work there. I think that was a turntable. And then I saw this giant Ludo, which I think I played by myself. And this one, you had to put your face with somebody else. I did it with the attendant just to see what it was. That was a bit scary or spooky. But yeah, I played this by myself. It was so fun. Imagine you had someone and both of you are playing it here. But it's okay. I think there were some people who were playing together, but to be honest, it's boring. Even if you're playing with someone, I found that some people got bored pretty easily and they left the board. But yeah, it was nice to play this. It was nice to see a Giants game. And there was another part where there was such a lot of mirrors in there as well. So I went there to take some pictures. This is another funny museum of illusion thing. So this is like a boucher chair, but this is actually what it is. It's like sitting on the floor, but it appears like a chair. And there were just so many things that give you the illusion of multiple things within the museum, and it was really nice. After a while, I took some more pictures. I remember sitting there was one that there was so many mirrors. It was like as if I was talking to myself. I remember posting it and someone was like, oh, are you duplicated? Or I don't remember what she said. But anyways, back to the same gravity room. At this point, I was like, okay, what's happening? It seems like it's flat, but you're going down. And they had these lovely pencils. I don't know how they achieved this, but this is a picture that looked like, oh, I'm talking to myself. But that was the end of Museum of Illusion. Next up, going to buy chocolates for my friends and my family back home in London. So I went to this place and the chocolates were sold in grams. So you needed to be careful. If not, you just keep packing it and it comes to an expensive amount. So I went to also this place where they had like proper chocolates that were not measured in grams and took the Eurostar back to London. This is my stash when I go back home, showing my sister. And I got some waffles as well. I just left this video so you can see some of the things that I bought while I was there. But anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment and share with your friends. See you.